Hello Year 8, good afternoon, welcome to another lesson on Dickensian characters. Today it's Mr Gradgrind from Hard Times. Now you'll do now is look at that quote from him there. Teach these boys and girls nothing but facts. How far do you agree with this statement? I think it's a good idea just to teach children facts. It's not how we do it obviously, but if we were to just jam you full of facts all the time, do you think that would be a good idea or not? So I'd like you just to write a little paragraph on making a response to that question. Okay, we're heading towards writing a first-person account of a day in the life of a Victorian student. That's the learning objective. The title is Mr Gradgrind from Hard Times. Put that into your books. And for today's lesson, you're going to need a pen, a pencil and a highlighter, your exercise book. And as ever, if you're getting towards the end of your exercise book, let me know and I'll get one sent to you. And a copy of the extract, the Gradgrind extract, which I've attached to Classcharts. Well, what did you get there for the do now? You could say that it reduces creativity if we just jammed you full of facts. I think that would be definitely a given if we did that. But you would acquire a lot of knowledge. It might affect independent thinking. It might mean that you couldn't think for yourself. Or it might mean that people don't challenge existing ideas or seek improvement. I mean, facts change, don't they? Not all of them, obviously. Some facts are incontrovertible. They never change. But sometimes facts do change. Anyway, I'd be interested to know what you got. If you want to send it to me, that would be lovely. Okay, today's lesson is based on a character from a Dickens novel called Hard Times. Mr Thomas Gradgrind, the school owner, cares nothing about facts, facts and facts. He despises emotion and imagination, and his great ambition is to break the spirits of his pupils and turn them into human cogs in a huge industrial machine. These strict teachings also apply to his own children, obedient Louisa and rebellious Tom. Can they free themselves from his heartless regime, or are they doomed to live without love and freedom? It's set against the backdrop of the Industrial Revolution. Will Gradgrind learn the error of his ways? And this is the point at which I want you to read the extract, so spend 10 minutes doing that. This is the very beginning of the novel, where the reader is introduced to one of the central characters, the stern school inspector, Thomas Gradgrind. His name is an indication of his tough, unemotional character. He works in Coketown, a fictitious place based on real northern industrial centres which were growing rapidly in Victorian time. His attitude to education is that it should only serve to prepare young people for a life in Coketown's many factories. So no poetry, no Shakespeare, none of those things, just stuff that you could use if you worked in one of these horrible factories. We've got 5 minutes to do this task. You've read the extract. I want you to go back and find words from the second paragraph only which are similar in meaning to these definitions: dull, tedious and repetitive, a large room, often underground. C, remarks, comments on a subject. D, stress. E, authoritarian, undemocratic. F, stubborn, unbending and inflexible. G, the way a person stands or moves. And H, unhelpful, not fitting in with others. Just see if you can find the words that those definitions fit. Just spend 5 minutes on it. If you haven't done it all at the end of 5 minutes, don't worry. It's a difficult task, that one. So just get as many as you can. And you could have picked monotonous, vaults, cellarage. I would accept caves. Observations, emphasis, dictatorial, inflexible, carriage and unaccommodating. You don't need to write those into your books. Just it was just an exercise in linking definitions to words. I mean, these Victorian novels have lots of words that have gone out of use now. But as I've told you before, you can work around that. You can work out what a word means by what's going on around it, as we've done in class. Okay, looking again at the first paragraph, what word is repeated several times in the first paragraph? What is the effect of this repetition? There's one word there that's repeated a lot. What is Thomas Gradgrind's attitude to the children? Support your answer with evidence in the form of quotations. So what does he think about the children? Write a short paragraph. He thinks the children should be just taught facts and then a quote to support it. 7 minutes for that. And here we are. The repeated word is facts, which is to show the only type of education acceptable to Gradgrind and his like. He wants nothing which isn't practical and useful for a life of work. No arts, music, nothing that uses or enriches the imagination. Everything must be measurable. And then the second one, what is Thomas Gradgrind's attitude to the children? Support your answer with evidence in the form of short quotations. Gradgrind regards the children as vessels. Vessels are like, in this context, sort of like pots or containers to be filled with the information he deems acceptable. He credits the children with nothing except this capacity to be filled. Gradgrind shows no understanding of or empathy with the pupils. He regards them at best as merely adults, at worst as unfeeling, inhuman entities without thought, preference or personality. Good grief. Okay, your next task is, based on your findings, write a paragraph in response to this question. What sort of man is Thomas Gradgrind? Is he kind? I don't think so. Refer to your extract and remember to comment on language and structure. So you can just say, Thomas Gradgrind is a tough, unfeeling man, and then you can have a quote in there when he talks about the facts, and then you can do your close word analysis on part of that quote, and that'll take you 10 minutes. Then on to the next slide. You could have picked out any of these. Direct speech shows his character. His language is clipped, harsh and authoritative. Repetition is used to emphasize his beliefs, but maybe also shows his lack of understanding of the complexities of education. Visual description builds a picture of him. The use of strong metaphors like square wall of a forehead and other imagery of buildings, cellarage, base adds the impression that he is emotionless and unfeeling. Harsh adjectives like hard, inflexible and dry tell us that he is totally unsuited to the education of young people. He is totally secure in his views and will tolerate no criticism or challenge. Personification, neckcloth trained to grasp him by the throat, suggests that even his own clothes are controlled by him to ensure he never utters a word which is not in keeping with his beliefs. This is an aggressive image reflecting his nature. So hopefully you've got something like that. Okay, just a little look at sort of an overview of what education was like in the 19th century. Education and childhood in Britain saw huge changes during the Victorian period. At the start of the Victorian period, very few children from poorer backgrounds went to school. They started work at a young age in factories or down the mines, and most grew up unable to read or write. Between 1833 and 1850, Parliament passed a number of laws that restricted the number of hours children could work. School then was very different to your schooling experience. The teachers were strict and often used cruel punishments such as the cane and the dunce cap. What would it be like to be in Mr Gradgrind's class? Imagine you come into E5 and Mr Gradgrind's there and he's stripped all your work off the walls and it's all dark, and he's standing at the front with his wall of a forehead and his sunken eyes and his complete lack of empathy. The children are described as if they are passive recipients of the education they are provided with. They are granted no control, autonomy or choice, but are expected to be grateful. The use of the word vessels reminds us of the old saying, empty vessels make most noise, suggesting that without being filled, the children will be useless, babbling inconveniences. Vessels also has biblical connotations, suggesting his ideas are based in Christianity and are to be followed. This is the part of the lesson that I want you to upload onto Classcharts for me to have a look at. I want you to write a first-person account of one of the students in his class, as if you're in his class. You could write it as a diary entry, or perhaps you could write it in the present tense of someone experiencing one of his lessons in real time. I think the diary entry is a good way to go, but whatever. I'll be really interested to see what you come up with. This is the thing that I want you to upload onto Classcharts, please. So when you've done that, upload it, and fantastic. I shall look forward to seeing it. Well done. Thanks for your hard work today. You are awesome, as it says there, and you are. The work I've been receiving has been of a really high standard. I'm really impressed with how many of you are doing it and getting it into me, and I've got a whole bag of achievement points here that I'm never going to run out. So keep sending me the work, and I'll keep giving you the achievement points. All right, well done, Year 8. I'll speak to you next time.